Hello everyone, today I will be reviewing To Kill a Mockingbird. So To Kill a Mockingbird is directed by Robert Mulligan and it stars Gregory Peck, and this film is based on the novel by Harper Lee, and this movie takes place in a small town in Alabama in the 1930s, and Gregory Peck plays Atticus Finch, who is a lawyer defending a black man who is accused of raping a white woman. Now, obviously the novel itself is one of the classic American novels. It's often regarded as one of the best stories of all time, one of the best novels of all time. And this film actually only came out a few years after the book. So the book won the Pulitzer Prize, and then this film was released a few years later. And this film actually did very well at the box office, and it also was very critically acclaimed when it came out and is often regarded as a classic nowadays. I can certainly see why. I think it's a fantastic story. It's a very well done film, very well made film indeed. And Gregory Peck in this film, he really plays Atticus Finch very well. So Atticus Finch, he comes across as a very honourable, respectable man who is trying to do the right thing. And although actually at the start of the film, the main focus is on the kids. So the kids are Scout and Jem. Those are Atticus's kids. And we see them almost acting quite bored because the days are very hot. So they're sort of running around, and they're very fascinated by a house which is nearby where a man called Boo Radley lives, who apparently lives in the basement. And the kids sort of make up all these stories about Boo Radley and always trying to sneak up on the door, knock on the door, and then run away. And so at the start of the film, we really see the innocence of the children, the way that they're living their lives in the hot summer, running about. And then eventually they realise about what their father Atticus is doing in the courtrooms and what his job actually is. And then the kids eventually realise that there is a bit of a darker side to the world that they don't know about, and there are certain things going on that they don't understand. And obviously, the kids are very young, so only that sort of age you don't know anyway. We start to see the world through the kids' eyes, and they learn more about racial injustice and prejudice. And really, the best scene in this film, the scene where it's building up to, is in the courtroom. So the trial scene where the black man is accused of raping the white woman, and Brock Peters plays Tom Robinson, who is the black man accused of raping the white woman, and he gives a very good performance. And although Brock Peters' part in the film isn't particularly big, he only really appears during the trial scene, and is really only speaking when he actually is being asked questions by the lawyers. And he gives a brilliant performance when he's telling his account of what had happened on the night where he's accused of raping the white woman, and the camera really focuses on his face, and you can see him really welling up with emotion and tears when he's talking about his story. And he really gives a fantastic performance, given that his part is so minimal. And actually, the kids are very good in this film. The actress who played Scout Girl, she was actually nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, and she was only 10 years old at the time, which was the youngest nomination at the time. And this film in general, it won a few Oscars. It won, Gregory Peck won the Oscar for Best Actor for this film. But this film did come out in 1962, which was the same year as Lawrence of Arabia. And Lawrence of Arabia really sort of swept the Oscars that year, and that ended up winning Best Picture. So unfortunately, To Kill a Mockingbird lost out on that, but that's nothing to be ashamed of, because Lawrence of Arabia was a very good film. To Kill a Mockingbird as a film, it really is a film which everybody can learn from. It has a very good message, it has very strong characters. Atticus Finch is a spectacular main character in the film, and actually the American Film Institute did a list of the greatest movie heroes and movie villains, and on the list of the greatest movie heroes, Atticus Finch was at the #1 spot from this film. And I think that's a very interesting decision, actually, because Atticus Finch, he isn't your traditional movie hero. If you think of who the greatest movie heroes are of all time, perhaps Atticus Finch isn't someone that might spring to mind. But in a way, he does definitely deserve the top spot, because although he's not your traditional movie hero, I mean, he doesn't go about beating people up, acting like a superhero and saving the day by, you know, wearing a cape and that sort of thing. But what he does is he saves the day with his mind and with his moral conscience. And that is, you know, in a way, it's a lot more realistic sort of way to actually change the world and actually have an impact. And his character, he always wants to do the right thing, what he believes is the right thing. And there's some very good moments in this film where he's talking to his daughter Scout about about, you know, how to think about things, and he says you never really understand a man until you see things from his point of view and until you actually walk in his shoes. And I thought it was a very interesting quote, and it's a quote which Scout later remembers towards the end of the film as well. Now, it should be mentioned that this film is actually told, well, the story is told from the point of view of Scout, and at the start of the film we have a narrative voiceover which is done by Scout as an adult looking back at this time in 1930s Alabama. So although it can almost be seen as a way for Scout to view the world in a way that she is seeing things going on. Now, I should also mention we also get an appearance from Robert Duvall in this film. He plays Boo Radley, and this is actually Robert Duvall's first appearance in the film, his first film appearance. And Robert Duvall's appearance in this film is actually very small. He actually only appears very briefly in the film, and he doesn't have any spoken lines of dialogue at all in the film. But he is very good, and he really portrays the character of Boo Radley very well as someone who's been shunned from society, maybe doesn't quite fit in with the world. So that was a very interesting appearance from him. So To Kill a Mockingbird, just to sum up, I'll say it's a very good film. I think it is actually probably one of the greatest films of all time. I think it's aged very well. I think it's really stood the test of time. This film came out in 1962, as I said before. So, you know, it's getting on a bit now, obviously, but still, I think it still looks like a fantastic film. And yeah, another thing I should mention, which I was surprised that I liked so much, was the score, which was done by Elmer Bernstein. Now, Elmer Bernstein's done some other great scores, such as The Great Escape and The Magnificent Seven, but the score in this film is very good, and I was really surprised because I'd seen this film a few years ago, but I didn't remember the score from it. But now watching it again, I really love the music in this film. It's very good. Anyway, yep, to sum up, so To Kill a Mockingbird, I'm going to give it a full 10 out of 10 because I think it's an absolutely superb film, and I'd recommend it to absolutely everyone. So, To Kill a Mockingbird. So what do you guys think? Have you seen it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Please let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on To Kill a Mockingbird. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.